Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. Hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the white pieces against a 1900 from Vietnam. We have a Sicilian. Let's go ahead with our Grand Prix. See what happens. See what happens indeed. So we have a knight c6, which is good. With a bishop g7. Okay. So we have three sort of different plans in the Grand Prix. Two are theoretical and one sort of me waffling my way through. G3 is the one I don't think you're meant to play. I think you can do. But it's not as good because you want your queen on e1 in order to get it to h4 in order to play f5. That's the whole idea. So that's not necessarily recommended. So the way to play would be to go to one of these. But what we're going to do first is we're going to play knight f3. Just as a bit of a waiting move. And I believe here the move is... it could be bishop c4, it could be bishop b5. It's to do with which one of these pawns they've pushed. But they haven't pushed either of the pawns. So I'm not really sure where we're going here. Let's go bishop b5. That's probably going to be the theory. I've never really liked it as a move, but I'm starting to understand the reasons behind it, which is good. And the whole point is to damage their pawn structure sort of permanently and mess it up, basically. So they've played b6 here, so they're going for a double fianchetto. Now I think would be the time to do this because it's forcing them to take with the d pawn. Which I think is nice for us. Or is it that you want to take with the b pawn? It could be that you want to take with the b pawn. Either way, we could leave this now, to be fair, because it's sort of permanently sticking this pawn on d7. Then again, if we let them do this, we're not damaging anything, basically. So I think we will take it. I think we will take it, and then we'll castle. And continue with our sort of regular plan. Hopefully. And with this d pawn being on the wrong place, it means they're not going to be able to long castle, which is good. So they're sort of forced to short castle here, which I like. It means we can stick with our sort of usual plan, basically. And it's sort of wasting a move here with their fianchetto. They could potentially go bishop a6. But I think that's fine. We could go... Even just d3 would be fine. They go there, which is interesting. d3 is an option. They probably actually want their queen on d4. They probably want their queen or bishop on d4. Just to give a check, I'm not particularly fussed about that. So I think here d3 is a good move. Covering the e-pawn a bit more. To be fair, that's sort of the plan. It's weird that they spent a move with b6 and decided to bring their bishop on this diagonal. And like we said there, we just moved to h1. We're fine. It gives actually potentially more opportunities to push some of these pawns, which I don't mind at all. If they take here, we'll take back with the queen. Again, looking for doubles up. And you see they've wasted two moves fianchettoing, and neither of their bishops are fianchettoed, which is sort of strange to me, I think. Yeah, I'm not really sure what their grand idea is. They've played h5. A usual sort of trap, they want us to play h3 and then either take or they'll take our pawn. Probably they want us to take and then they'll take with some sort of mating idea. We're not going to let that happen. I think queen e1 here is fine. Freeing up this knight and stopping any h4 ideas. We're looking to go queen h4 ourselves. So I think here queen a1 is good. We have potential of taking this with the knight. And now they decide to take. And we're going to take with the rook, I think. Going to take with the rook. We can bring this knight over here, potentially. We could play a quick f5, potentially. We could still go queen there. I'm not sure what I like more, to be honest. I feel like we've got a lot of things we can do. I think a knight e2 maneuver could do us quite well because this knight's not doing much. Then again, they look like they want to play b4 anyway, so yeah, but we can't really be relying on that. I think they'll be going knight h6 because it's too easily kicked out with an e5. We could go bishop e3. Is an interesting option, but that leaves this b pawn kind of weak, which I'm not too keen on. I think knight e2 could be the way to go, and then we're looking for a c push, kick out this bishop, kick out any dark square weaknesses we have, and now we can fully sort of go on the attack. We've got a knight g3 potentially if we go h5. We've got to watch out for this d pawn potentially. We can play bishop e3, just hitting their weakness straight away, potentially inviting us to play a d4 for free, basically, which I'd very much appreciate. Knight there, we can just take. We could play a h3 if we really, really wanted to, but a d4 is a very nice place for our bishop to be honest. Very happy with that there. Yeah. And I think here bishop g1 isn't horrible. It's controlling a lot of our sort of weakish squares. I think we played a move very similar yesterday as well. h3, still not wanting to play that. I think an f5 would be a better shout. We got a rook d1 coming as well, and potentially even push the d pawn. They've not castled. And the minute they've castled, we can launch our attack because our pieces are just better. Our pieces are just better. They could potentially be in for a long castle, sorry. Which would be a sight to see, to be fair. Would be a sight to see. That makes me hesitant to move this a rook because I want a very quick a4 with this bishop coming in if we play a d5. Is my grand idea there. So maybe a d5 straight away. Maybe a queen d1. Then we're sort of walking into c5 ideas, though. Yeah, we've got to think of something. Believe it or not, we have to think of something. I don't want to launch any pawns anywhere, really, without the correct sort of castling from them. You know, I think their next move is going to be castling, so it's on them to make a call on that, I think. Let's play h3. Let's play h3. I know we said we're going to wait for them to castle before we decide on that, but I don't think h3 is a bad move. It forces them to sort of make a call a bit. We could get our rook to e3 potentially, but then we're blocking in our dark squared bishop. If it goes back to h6, I'm very happy, to be honest. We could potentially get this bishop on h2 and hit the queen that way. Could be quite nice, but I think for now we have to watch out for this this e pawn. So maybe an e5, although that's inducing a lot of light squared weaknesses. Knight move could work. Knight move could work. Sort of backing up f5 as a pawn push. Could work. Could work. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. And if they play h4, then I'm sort of happy with that. Because they've lost a lot of their breaks and we can still get a bishop h2 in. And things are all looking okay. We're not doing too bad on time. Not doing too bad at all on time. a4 is what I really want if they long castle. d5, I mean, it's killer, right? It's killer. It's got to be. Somehow. I just need to figure out the details. But there's no point thinking about that until they make their decision, because they have two decisions to make. I think both give me an equally nice position, to be honest. Especially if we can get a bishop h2 in with the short castle. So we have an f5 knight takes discovered attack on the queen. is the grand idea, with potentials of checks, with potentials of queens coming in, of g4s. I'm very happy whatever they do. I think I'm not too fussy in this situation. They go for the long castle, and now we can smash things open. Now we can smash things open, and I'm happy. I'm happy. They have to really decide what they're doing with this, because if they're not careful, this is all coming extremely quick. I would like to get our queen in the game. Potentially, they go for king d7. Wow. Wow. How do we properly punish this? Takes and then push d is an option. Sort of an option. Yeah, I mean, with the pin on the pawn, on the queen is devastating. We have takes threat, you know, d5 is scary. They would have to go like king e8, and then what's the point? We still get this rook in the game. e5 potentially, but it might be a case of slowing down a bit once we win this pawn. Might be a case of slowing down a bit. We could potentially win 2 pawns here. Would be very cheeky. I'd take that for sure. And then I might have to move this rook down. We might have to back up a bit, make a bit of space, and connect our pieces a bit better, because our pieces were a bit defensive. But if we're doing this whole maneuver, then yeah, we might have to go all out attack here. Might have to go all out attack. What have they got in store for us? What have they got? I think takes king e8 is the way to play it. Takes d5, king e8. Rook takes. I mean, where can you go? Where can you go is the question. Yeah. Immediate threat. I'm not even sure if we want the... Do we want the immediate threat? We probably do, right? We probably do. King e8. Oh, rook there could work. But I don't think you can let me get that many free moves in. They push that, which is interesting. I didn't see that coming, to be fair. That was a bit of a miscalculation on my end. Let's... I like this bishop here. I do. We could go bishop d4 takes, bishop takes e5 is an option. Is an option. We could go queen there, and try just win the pawn. We could drop this rook back. What was my idea? Bishop there. I think bishop there, yeah. I think I like bishop there. This knight's annoying me. This knight's surprisingly well placed. We still can't take this, by the way, if they move there. But then again, that would be a free bishop, so thank you very much, is all we can say for that. Yeah, they go for that, and now takes, I think, is possible. Bishop takes, pawn push. I mean, we've got so much room there. We've got, like, knight coming in, threatening that. Potentially going there, we could get the queen in again. I think that's the way to play it. With such an advanced pawn, like, formation, we have to be doing okay, surely. We've got rook d1, potentially. Yeah, I like the knight there. Knight g5, potentially. They move the bishop back, which is probably, yeah. I mean, it's the only move that saves the bishop, apart from bishop h4, which could have been a good try, to be fair. But I'm probably just going to move my queen somewhere. And yeah, they could push, is an option. We have like a queen e3. They're looking for that, which I don't think works. Queen e3. Check. Yeah, but what are you doing after check? You know, it's not really inspiring me. I think we reroute this rook on the d file, to be honest. I don't mind that idea. This isn't really going anywhere. They've not got much that can do stuff there. Okay. We'll get on the d file. Our position could be slipping. Could have sort of pushed our luck with this attack a bit. But we still have some good, well-placed pieces, I think. We can look to trade off queens. Would be decent, I think, with this very active knight. They can't really break much. They could do an F break, but then E6 leaving us with a backwards pawn is an option. But not an option I particularly want to do. That's a nice move. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. G6H5. Oh, and then you have queen takes. That's quite nice. So we'll drop back for now. We'll drop back. We need to speed up. Knight there, I think. It's not very nice. It's not like remarkable, you know. It's okay, but it's not amazing. We really need to speed up now. G4 doesn't look appetizing. We can't be opening up too many lines here. They push, which I think is good for us, right? I think is good for us because now we've got this as a little outpost. We could still play G4 here, but nothing can really get this knight apart from a rook. And it covers the F pawn, which is nice. So now we've got a bit more to work with. I like. They're going to have to make a decision. I'd happily trade off queens here. Extremely happily trade off queens. And I think we're just sitting tight for a minute. We'll push G3, free up this knight. So they can't do any funny business with that. Yeah, and we'll take that. Take the free pawn. They go for the exchange, which is probably smart, to be fair. I don't mind that as a move. We'll take the G pawn, take the A pawn. And we've got two passes here. Are they enough? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Not quite sure. And we'll take the B pawn then. We'll take the B pawn. And we take the F pawn. We take the F pawn. Ah, no. No, we literally moved it to the one square we couldn't move it to. Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. I feel bad. We moved it to the one square we couldn't move it to. Time management strikes again. Oh, we've got a passer. It doesn't do anything though. We pre-move trap to passer there. That was an awful mistake. That was absolutely awful. It's more funny than anything, I think. See if they take it. Yeah, they've got time. We'll see if we can stalemate. I doubt it. Two queens and a bishop. It's possible. It's possible, but they're just going to ladder mate us, I reckon. Yeah. Not much we can do there. That's just yeah, that's just a misclick. It wasn't even a misclick. I meant to click there, but I just was stupid. I just was stupid. I think that's the way these games go, to be honest. I think that's the way these games go. Yeah, I mean, if you look at this graph, it just goes slowly upwards and then just dead drop. That's quite comical, I think. I think 78.5 versus an 80.8 is a harsh accuracy. If you actually look at the game, but you know, the end game pre-moves with the queen bump up the accuracy a bit. Anyway, b6 I thought was an inaccuracy, and I was completely right to take the knight. Castles is fine. It wants a d3. I don't think it matters particularly much. King h1, only real move. Queen e1's fine. Rook takes is fine. And the answer here is a4, and I like a4. That's a good move. Because you're making them make a decision. You know, they can take and open up your rook and leave with double isolated pawns, or they can push and give you a tempo. So, with very little chance of actually infiltrating this queenside pawn structure. So I like that a lot. Knight h6 I thought was a good move. Yeah, c3 is fine. Bishop e3 is very logical, just hitting their weak spot. Wow. What? Really? It wants bishop c5 instead? Bishop c5, castles. Well, surely takes is fine, right? Surely takes is fine. Rook d1. Yeah. And then, yeah, I guess you lose the pawn. But still, it's not a. Wow, that's crazy. Knight g3, yeah, bishop g1's perfect. H3 is a bit of a mistake. It wants the immediate h5 actually. Which is very interesting, because you're risking it a bit opening up their queen for you, but you know, this bishop's covering quite well, to be fair, and that's just, yeah, infiltrating. I think their mistake was castling way too late. You know, we had either very quick breaks on the queen side, or all our pieces were coordinated on the king side. So I don't think whichever way they castled, it would have gone well for them. If they castled king side, I think it's probably slightly better because we actually have to force an attack. But queenside is just very, very natural breakthroughs. Takes. Oh, and it actually wanted e5, which is wild to me because you're giving the knight so many like squares, an outpost that you can't really get rid of. You know, you've got nothing to hit the light squares apart from your other knight, which can't get there particularly quickly. So yeah, I don't see why it can't just go to d5 and sit there and chill. I guess the computer will find a way, but I don't see the big idea. I guess now you have the c5 out. What? What? You give up a pawn? You give up 2 pawns? Wow, that's an insane series of discovered attacks. That's insane. There, and then there with the pawn opening up the rook. Wow. What if the king goes this way? You just take anyway and you've got a passer that they've got to deal with. Yeah, that makes sense. A5 was a good move. I like that. Bishop d4, pretty natural. Apparently e5, and you let them take the d pawn, is insane to me. E6. Oh, with the e6 discovered. Duh. Gosh. Yeah. That's simple. E5. Yeah. Knight there is just nice. and they pose some nice questions here, I think. It wants knight g5, which I think I looked at, but I didn't see anything concrete. I liked bishop h6. It's just asking a few questions with the threat of queen takes e5, winning a pawn. Made me sort of react. Apparently d6 is the way, just stopping this queen takes, but then you've got potential like rook takes ideas, which seems strange to me. Apparently it's just a big trade-off. Up the exchange for some reason. Don't ask me why. Yeah, don't ask me why. I guess that's the big threat in it. That is the big threat. So they do this just to move your rook out the way than to go down the exchange. Just to stop this immediate fork. Makes a lot of sense. F5 I didn't like for them at all. Apparently this d6 idea still works, which is crazy. Apparently this d6 move still works, which is crazy. There we go. I'm surprised that's not a brilliancy with the sacrifice. Promote to bishop. And you will see computers do this a fair amount. This is the first time I'm actually seeing it with my own eyes, but I've seen tons of game analysis with this. Computers like to under promote to... When they know a piece is going to be taken, they under promote it to lessen the value of the piece being taken. It's quite cool. I don't know if it's a strategic thing or if it's like a glitch in their sort of coding or whatever, where like they don't want to lose a more valuable piece. You get me? Or it's to sort of make their opponent think, is this actually worth spending a move taking? I'm not quite sure, but obviously they're going to take it anyway. But yeah, it's quite interesting, and you'll notice it more when you start to pay attention. Like, I think it's really, really interesting. Knight e6, again, just a natural thing. We decided to trade off queens, probably not the best idea, but we were running very low on time and needed to simplify very quickly. Sacking the exchange, I think, is the best plan for them. We were winning here. We were winning. I don't like to say we were winning when we obviously lost, because, you know, time is a part of the game, as we all know. But yeah, this was stupid. This was just stupid. There's nothing else to say. And fair play to them. They played it rather tidily. You know, I got them with a little pre-move trap here. I probably should have taken the pawn, to be fair, but it wouldn't have mattered either way. But yeah, they played it quite tidily. I don't think they needed to promote a second queen, but hey, that's not for me to judge. If they find it quicker to promote a second queen, then, you know, go for it. I think for me, it more likely induces a stalemate, to be honest, which nobody wants. Not even the person getting the stalemate wants. They know it's cheap. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. We have another fight for 1900 tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Please like if you liked, please subscribe if you really liked, and I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye bye.